I never thought a college mixer would change my life, but here we are. It was a Thursday night in October, and honestly, I was only at this thing because my roommate Jake wouldn't shut up about it. University of Michigan's annual fall social at the student union. I'd spent the last 3 hours pretending to care about some sophomore's opinion on cryptocurrency while nursing warm beer that tasted like pennies. The whole place smelled like cheap cologne and desperation. String lights hung across the ceiling, doing their best to make the cafeteria look less like a cafeteria. A DJ in the corner was playing that same playlist every college event has had since 2015. You know the one. I was ready to leave. Had my jacket halfway on when Marcus walked up with that stupid grin he gets when he's about to make my night worse. "Yo, Connor," he said, but way too loud. $20 says you won't ask that girl to dance." I followed his eyes across the room. There she was, standing near the punch bowl, talking to a couple of friends. Dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, wearing jeans and a green sweater that looked soft even from across the room. She had this smile that made her whole face light up when she laughed at something her friend said. "I'm not doing your stupid dares anymore," I told him. "Remember what happened at orientation? That was different. This is just a dance." Marcus pulled out a 20 and waved it in my face. "Easy money, bro." The thing about Marcus is he knows exactly which buttons to push. We'd been friends since freshman year, and he'd figured out pretty quick that I can't back down from a challenge. It's a pride thing. Stupid, I know. "Fine," I said. I'm shoving my jacket at him. "But if she says no, you owe me 40. My heart was already doing that thing where it feels too big for my chest. I'm not great at talking to girls I don't know. My hands get sweaty. I forget how to stand like a normal person. Once in high school, I asked a girl to prom and accidentally called her by her sister's name. She didn't have a sister. I walked across that room like I was heading to my own execution. Each step felt too loud, too obvious. What was I even going to say? The DJ switched to some slow song, which somehow made everything worse. She turned before I got there, like she could sense someone approaching. Up close, she was even prettier. Brown eyes that caught the string lights, a small scar on her chin that looked like it had a story behind it. "Hi," I said, and my voice cracked a little. "Real smooth, Connor." "I'm Connor." "Emma," she said. Her smile was polite, but cautious, the way anyone smiles at a stranger at a party. "This is going to sound insane," I started, and then stopped because I had no idea how to finish that sentence. My brain was screaming at me to abort mission, but Marcus was watching from across the room, and I could practically feel him laughing already. "Would you want to dance?" She raised her eyebrows. "Do you normally lead with telling girls things are going to sound insane?" "Only on Thursdays." That got a real laugh out of her. Small, but genuine. Points for honesty, I guess. "So, is that a yes?" Emma looked at her friends, then back at me. Something shifted in her expression. A decision being made. "Sure, why not?" We walked to where a few other couples were swaying awkwardly. And the song was one of those acoustic covers of a pop song that radio stations play when they're trying to be deep. I put my hand on her waist like I'd seen in movies, and she put hers on my shoulder. We started moving, and I immediately stepped on her foot. "Sorry," I said, feeling my face heat up. "I'm not really a dancer." I noticed, but she was smiling when she said it. We found a rhythm after a minute. Nothing fancy, just back and forth, trying not to crash into the couple next to us who were way too into it. Emma smelled like vanilla and something else I couldn't place. Cinnamon, maybe. "So what's your major?" she asked, doing that thing people do at college events where they run through the standard questions. Engineering. You? Psychology. Let me guess. You're already psychoanalyzing why I asked you to dance? Little bit. Her eyes had this spark of mischief in them. I'm thinking it was a dare. My stomach dropped. What? No, your friend over there keeps looking this way and grinning like an idiot. Plus, you have that nervous energy guys get when they're doing something to impress their buddies. I should have been embarrassed. I was embarrassed. But there was something about the way she said it. No judgment, just observation, that made me laugh. Okay, you got me, I admitted. $20. But for what it's worth, I'm glad I asked. You're easy to talk to. Even when I'm calling you out? Especially then. The song changed to something faster, but neither of us moved to leave. We just kept swaying like the tempo hadn't shifted. Her hand felt warm through my shirt. Hi, can I tell you something? Emma said, and her voice got quieter, more serious. Sure. She looked down, then back up at me. Her jaw was set in a way that made me think whatever she was about to say took courage. I almost didn't come tonight. Actually, I've been avoiding these things for the past year. But my roommate insisted, said I couldn't hide forever. She took a breath. This is my first time dancing since my accident. Accident? Emma stepped back slightly, and I felt her hand leave my shoulder. Before I could ask what she meant, she reached down and tapped her left leg. It made a hollow sound that didn't match what I expected. Lost it in a car crash my senior year of high school, she said, watching my face carefully. Drunk driver ran a red light. I was on my way to a dance competition, actually. Kind of ironic. The world tilted a little bit. I looked down and realized what I'd been too nervous to notice before. Her jeans fit differently on the left side, the way she'd been standing, slightly favoring her right. I had no idea, I said, which was the dumbest thing I could have possibly said. Most people don't. That's kind of the point of a good prosthetic. She said it matter of fact, but there was something underneath. Testing me, maybe. Waiting to see if I'd run. Does it hurt? To dance on it? Sometimes. Mostly just takes getting used to again. Relearning balance. Trusting it. She tilted her head. You're not freaking out. Should I be? Most guys do. Or they get weirdly overcompensating about it. Start treating me like I'm made of glass. You don't seem like glass, I said. Well, you seem like someone who showed up to a party even though she was scared. That's pretty brave. Something in her expression softened. My friends made a joke before I came over. They said you were probably some jerk who'd freak out if you knew. That I should tell you just to see your reaction. And I'm glad I did. She stepped closer again, putting her hand back on my shoulder. Because now I get to do this. She leaned in, her lips close to my ear, and whispered 6 words that made my heart forget how to beat properly. Want to get out of here? Before I could answer, before I could even process what was happening, the lights in the Union flickered once, twice, then went completely dark. Someone screamed. The music cut out. In the chaos and confused shouting, I felt Emma's hand grip mine tighter. But then I heard her voice in the darkness, urgent and scared in a way that made my blood run cold. Connor, we need to leave. Right now. The emergency lights kicked on, casting everything in dim red. People were pulling out their phones, using flashlights. Someone near the DJ booth was laughing like it was all a joke. But Emma wasn't laughing. Her hand was shaking in mine. I could feel her pulse racing through her palm. Emma, what's wrong? Please, she said, already pulling me toward the exit. I'll explain outside. We pushed through the crowd. Everyone else seemed confused, but calm, making jokes about the power grid, about the university's ancient electrical system. Emma moved fast, despite her prosthetic, weaving between people with the kind of urgency that made my own anxiety spike. We burst through the doors into the October night. The cold air hit my face like a slap. Emma kept walking, kept pulling me along until we were away from the building, standing under a streetlight in the empty quad. That's when she let go of my hand and bent forward, hands on her knees, breathing hard. "Hey," I said, touching her shoulder gently. "You're okay. Whatever that was, we're out." She straightened up slowly. In the streetlight, I could see her face was pale. "I'm sorry. I just panicked." "About the lights going out?" "It's stupid." She ran her hand over her ponytail, a nervous gesture. After the accident, I have this thing with sudden darkness. The crash happened at night. 1 second I was driving, singing along to the radio, and the next, everything went black. I woke up 3 days later in a hospital bed. My chest felt tight. That's not stupid. That's trauma. My therapist says I have PTSD, loud noises, sudden darkness. They trigger these panic responses. She laughed, but it sounded bitter. Great first impression, right? Drag you out of a party because the lights went out. You didn't drag me. I came with you. She looked at me then, really looked at me, like she was trying to figure out if I meant it. "Why are you being so nice about this?" she asked. "You don't even know me." "Maybe I want to." The words came out before I could think about them, but they were true. Standing there in the cold, while watching her try to get her breathing under control, I realized I'd never met anyone like Emma. She was real in a way most people aren't. No pretense, no games. "The power will probably come back on soon," she said, changing the subject. "You should go back inside. Your friend will wonder where you went." "Marcus can wait. Are you okay to get home?" "I live in North Quad. It's like a 5-minute walk." "I'll walk with you." "You don't have to do that." "I know." I shoved my hands in my pockets. "But it's dark, and you said sudden darkness freaks you out, so maybe having company would help." Emma studied my face for a long moment. Then she nodded. "Okay." We started walking. The campus was quieter than usual for a Thursday night. Most people were still at the mixer or in their dorms. Our footsteps echoed on the sidewalk. Can I ask you something?" I said after a minute of silence. "Sure." "Before the lights went out, you asked if I wanted to get out of there. What were you going to say? Where were we going to go?" She smiled, and even in the dim light, I could see color coming back to her cheeks. "There's a diner off campus, the Bluebird, open 24 hours, makes the best chocolate milkshakes in Ann Arbor. Are they still open?" "Always." "Then let's go." Emma stopped walking. "Seriously?" "Unless you don't want to anymore." "No, I do. I just thought after my freak out." "Emma." I turned to face her. "I asked you to dance on a dare for $20. You still danced with me. I think we're past judging each other for not being perfect." She laughed, a real one this time, and the sound made something warm spread through my chest despite the cold. The Bluebird it is," she said. We changed direction, heading toward the edge of campus. Emma walked beside me, and our hands brushed once, twice. The third time, she took mine and held it. Neither of us said anything about it. We just kept walking toward the diner, toward whatever came next. Two strangers who weren't really strangers anymore. The Bluebird looked exactly like every small-town diner should. Red vinyl booths, checkered floor, a jukebox in the corner that probably hadn't worked since 1987. We slid into a booth near the window. A waitress who looked like she'd seen everything twice came over with menus. 2 chocolate milkshakes, Emma said before I could even look at the options. "Make that 3, I said. "And fries." The waitress nodded and disappeared. We sat there for a second, just looking at each other across the table. And the fluorescent lights were harsh but honest. No string lights or romantic lighting to hide behind. "So," Emma said, tracing a crack in the table with her finger. "This is weird, right?" "What part? The power outage, the panic attack, or the fact that we're now having milkshakes at midnight?" "All of it." She smiled. "Good weird, though." The waitress brought our drinks. They came in those old-fashioned glasses, tall and cold with whipped cream on top. Emma took a sip and closed her eyes like it was the best thing she'd ever tasted. "Told you," she said. I tried mine. She wasn't wrong. "Okay, real talk," I said, setting down my glass. "What actually made you say yes to dancing with me? You clearly knew it was a dare." Emma shrugged. "I don't know. You looked nervous. And not in a cocky way, like you were trying to win something. But you looked like you were actually scared I'd say no." She paused. "Plus, my friends have been on my case about putting myself out there again. They said I can't let what happened define the rest of my life. Is that what you've been doing? Letting it define you?" "Maybe." She pulled her straw out and licked the whipped cream off it. "It's hard not to. Everyone at school knows me as that girl who lost her leg. Or they don't know, and then they find out, and everything changes. People start being careful around me. Like I might break. You don't seem breakable." "I'm not." She said it firmly. "But try telling that to everyone else." The fries came. We ate in comfortable silence for a minute. Outside the window, a car drove past. The headlights swept across Emma's face, and I saw something there. Something determined. "I was supposed to go pro," she said suddenly. "Dancing, I mean. I had a scholarship lined up for Juilliard. My whole life was mapped out." She laughed, but it wasn't bitter this time. Just honest. Then one drunk driver changed everything. And for a while I was so angry. At him, at the universe, at my own body, for not being whole anymore. What changed? Physical therapy, mostly. My PT was this older woman named Rita. She'd lost her arm in a factory accident when she was 20. She told me something I think about every day. Emma looked right at me. She said our bodies are just the vehicles we use to move through life. They matter, but they're not who we are. Who we are is what we choose to do with whatever vehicle we've got. I didn't know what to say to that. It felt too big, too important for a response. So I'm choosing," Emma continued. "I'm choosing to show up, to dance even when it hurts, to say yes to random guys at mixers even when I'm terrified." She reached across the table and took my hand. "And I'm really glad I said yes to you." My throat felt tight. "Emma, I need to tell you something." "Okay." "This wasn't supposed to be anything. It was just a stupid dare. But sitting here with you, I don't want it to be nothing." I squeezed her hand. "I want to see you again. Actually see you. Not because of a bet or because my friends are watching. Because you're the most real person I've met in a long time." She didn't say anything for a moment. Just looked at our hands intertwined on the table. "I have a confession, too," she said quietly. "When I asked if you wanted to get out of there before the lights went out, I was scared. Not of the party. Of you." "Of me?" "Of liking you." She met my eyes. "Of letting myself feel something for someone who might run. The second things got complicated. But you didn't run, even when I gave you every reason to. I'm not going anywhere. Promise?" "Promise." Emma smiled, and it was like the sun coming up. "Then pick me up tomorrow, 7 o'clock. There's this place I want to show you." "Where?" "You'll see." We finished our milkshakes. We talked about everything and nothing until the waitress started giving us looks. Outside, I walked Emma back to her dorm. At the door, she turned and kissed me on the cheek. "Thank you," she whispered, "for tonight, for all of it." Then she was gone, disappearing through the doors before I could respond. I walked back to my own dorm in a daze. Marcus was waiting up, demanding to know where I'd been. I told him everything. He listened without interrupting, which was rare for him. "So what now?" he asked when I finished. "Now I show up tomorrow at 7, I said, "and I keep showing up, for as long as she'll let me." Marcus grinned and pulled out a $20 bill. "You won the bet, by the way." I pushed it back. "Keep it. Some things are worth more than $20. That was 6 months ago. Emma and I have been together ever since. Now she took me to a dance studio that next night and taught me actual steps. I'm still terrible, but I'm getting better. Last week she competed in her first adaptive dance competition. She won 2nd place. I was in the front row, cheering louder than anyone. People still stare sometimes. They see us together, and they see her prosthetic, and they make assumptions. We don't care. We know what we are. We're two people who showed up, who kept showing up, who chose each other despite everything that could have kept us apart. And that joke Marcus made, that stupid dare for $20, it changed everything, but not in the way any of us expected.